Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with a Gear Chronicle deck profile. So, yeah, let's get right into the deck profile. And the heads up first, I am missing one card in this deck for my generation zone, because I went out to my friend and he still doesn't give it back yet. So, but it is part of the deck, and yeah, let's get right into the deck profile first. So for the starting Vanguard, we run the Generation Break 1 guy who lets you search for a grade 3. So the skill is Generation Break 1, kind of last one, move this card into Soul. Search your deck for a grade 3 and show it to your opponent, and then add it to your hand. And then shuffle your deck afterwards. So basically, he gives you more grade 3s in your hand to feel strides. He's not great if you're grade stuck, because you can only activate it when you're Generation Break 1, and you don't usually get Generation Break 1 unless you stride. So yeah, he's not much use if you want to search for grade 3 when you're grade stuck, but that's not too big of a problem, since his upside is you are guaranteed to get a grade 3, since you can look for your whole deck. Alright, next run 4 Chrono Jet Dragons. Yeah, obviously this is Chrono's trump card, and he's a pretty decent Generation Break 2 card. Alright, so the skill is, when this card, Generation Break 2, when this card attacks a Vanguard, during that battle, your opponent, this card gets plus 5,000 power, and your opponent cannot call grade 1 or above units into the Guardian Circle. So basically, it's kind of like a yeah, Maelstrom effect? Yes. It's a Maelstrom effect, and yeah, because it gets the extra 5k, so if you get a nice 10k boost behind it, or a 7k boost, you'll still hit for pretty nice numbers. And besides that, his other skill is kind of last one. When a unit is showed on top of this card, you pay the cost, which is kind of last one. If you do, choose one opponent's rear guards and put it to the bottom of their deck. So overall, this is a pretty solid card. He's pretty good to finish your opponents off when you can't strike anymore, because his attack does not require counterblast, like his Generation Break does not require counterblast. So it's very counterblast efficient. His Stride Break is kind of you might not always use it, but if you do, then it's alright. Alright, next we run the Legion for Gear Chronicle. I really like this card because, well, first of all, he's cheap. Not only is the card cheap, but his effect is cheap. It does not cost counterblast, and he's Legion, so you can recycle your triggers and stuff. So yeah, let's get right into his effect. It's Legion, and when you Legion, you can choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or lower units and put it on the bottom of their deck. And when this card attacks, it gets plus 2,000 power. So he is very useful, since you can just keep fueling your soul by legioning. Since this deck does do a lot of soul blasting, and yeah, you can use his Legion effect off to get off some other effects that you need in this deck. And he also swings for 22 by himself when you're Legion, so he hits for pretty big numbers. So when you don't have Generation Break 2, it's kind of nice to have this guy. Grade 2s, we run the Steam Fighter, the key card that you got in the trial deck. His effect is Generation Break 1, kind of last one. When this card attacks a Vanguard when you attack a Vanguard and this card is boosted, You can pay the cost. If you do, choose one opponent's grade 2 or lower rear guards and put it to the bottom of the deck. So it does not need to hit, which is amazing because you can pretty much you're guaranteed to send the card to the bottom of the deck whenever he attacks with a boost. Now you might not use this effect every time you do it because there's sometimes you want to save your counterblast for other stuff, and yeah. But it is pretty nice to have. So next we have 4 of the Steam Fighter Pazuri. I think his name is Pazuri or something. He's basically Silent Tom, except you need to Soul Blast 2. So when you attack a Vanguard, you would pay the cost, Soul Blast 2. If you do, during that battle, your opponent can call grade 0 units from their hand to the guard unit circle. So he's obviously good for, you know, a number of reasons. He's a 9k base, so he's not 8k like Silent Tom. And yeah, you since you have to Soul Blast in order to use this effect, you probably will only use this effect when you know you can finish your opponent off. So that's one of the main reasons we wanted Legion, because you want to have lots of soul to use for this card's effect. Though I do run another card that uses Soul Blast, so yeah. Next, I run 4 of the 12k attacker. You could switch this out for the 10k vanilla, but I like to run this card because I run a 10k booster in this deck, so I like to hit those magic numbers. But the thing about this 12k attacker is that you have to have Generation Break 1 to do it, so you can't rush your opponent down early game with 19k columns. So yeah, that's a bit of a downside for these cards, but it's not too big of a problem. Next, we run the Soul Blast 2, draw a card. Mainly you run her for early game. Late game you're going to save your Soul Blast for him, but early game you can use this to fill your drop zone out to Legion, and it's quite nice. Also, when you Legion too many times and all of these guys are in the soul, it's nice to have her to blow them back out. So yeah, I saw a deck in Japan that ran 4 of her. I don't know how they do it, but it's fine. Next, we run 4 of the Steampunk Dragon, or Steam something Dragon, Steam Dragon something. He's the Stride Feel that you run. So his effect activates. When this card, let's talk about his first effect first. When this card is called the rear guard circle, you would pay the cost. Reveal a grade 3 to your opponent's opponent, and then you can search your deck for a Chrono Jet Dragon, a card with Chrono Jet in its name. So right now it's only Chrono Jet Dragon, and then after that you can show it to your opponent, and then discard a card and shuffle your deck. So basically, you reveal a grade 3, or you reveal a grade 3, search for a Chrono Jet card, and discard a card, shuffle deck. Pretty self-explanatory. Second effect is, when this card is used to pay for a cost of Stride, this card gets +2 grades. So since you need a combined grade of grade 3 in order to perform Stride, usually you either ditch a grade 3 from your hand to perform Stride, or you ditch this guy from your hand. You very rarely discard 2 cards to perform Stride, since if you do that, you kind of -1. So, yeah. And next, we run the Apex Standing Gearwolf. He is the 10k booster I was talking about. He is Generation Break 1, but most of the time when you use this effect, you'll probably generation break one at least already. So his effect is, when you use a card effect to put a unit to the bottom of your opponent's deck, this card gets plus 3k. So he's kind of like Shuki for Narukami, except he is Gear Chronicle, and instead of retiring, you are putting to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So obviously, if you land a hit with Chronos Command Dragon, this card's gonna be huge. But usually, getting one is enough, because if you get one off and you have this column, you'll be hitting for 22. If you get two off and you have this column, you'll be hitting for 21, and your opponent can't use grade 0s to guard. So it's a pretty good card. Next, for Perfect Guards, I'm not running her because of the cross. With the new Perfect Guards that you can inflict damage with, you can't use them to guard with your rear guards. You can't use them to guard for your rear guards. So since the cross is such a meta deck now, for this deck at least, I am not running the new Perfect Guards, since this deck doesn't have too many methods of gaining advantage by calling units. So once Kagero wrecks your units, you're in a pretty tough situation. So it's nice to have these Perfect Guards to protect your rear guards. And I say that because but if you guard for your rear guard, the opponents, you're going to use the cross to retire your units anyway, and that's true. But even if they hit my rear guard, I lose a rear guard, and he gets to attack my Vanguard again, and then he's going to retire my units anyway. So I'm going to lose more cards that way either way. So I'd rather just use a Perfect Guard to guard the first attack, and then you can't withstand. So yeah. For the old Perfect Guards. For trigger lineup, I run 8 crit, 4 heal, 4 draw. These draws are useful because you can put them into Soul and then field them for other effects. Also, you can put this card into Soul and give the Silent Tom guy a extra 3k, which will make him 11k. So you can use that to make your nice columns with him also, which is nice. So let's get right into the generation zone. So for this deck, run 4 Ragnar Clock. Don't mind this card. It is a Ragnar Clock soon. So for Ragnar Clock's effect is kind of last one. Choose in your G zone. Choose a card with Ragnar Clock. Choose a Ragnar Clock dragon in its in your G zone and flip it face up. When this card attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, during that battle, your opponent cannot call grade 0 units to the Guardian Circle, and if your G zone has 2 face-up units, this card gets +1 critical. So he's pretty good, since he is pretty much a no-wall bag, except he gets an extra critical, and he probably swings bigger than no-wall bag. The thing about him is that you can only use this effect twice, so you should be careful of when you will use this effect. Since yeah, if you see your opponent drive check a Perfect Guard or something, you're probably not going to shrine to him because reasons. Instead, early game, you're going to pressure him by striding into Chronos Command. Chronos Command is a very good pressurizing card because it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. A lot, obviously, because you can pretty much get rid of his entire field if you hit. So they're probably gonna perfect guard it if they have a full field, or if they're at 5 damage. But no, doesn't matter. So the skill is Counter Blast 2, Soul Blast 1. Choose a card in your hand and discard it. And when this card's Vanguard attack hits, you pay the cost. If you do, during that, you can pay the cost if you do retire. I mean, jeez. Choose all the units, opponents, rear guards, and put them to the bottom of the deck. So basically, if you hit, your opponent's field is gone, which is pretty good. But since you need a hit, your opponent's probably going to perfect guard it. Because if they don't, they're probably screwed if they're not playing Royal Paladin or Gold Paladin. Yeah. So he's a pretty strong card. It's not. He could be better, but yeah, we'll see. I want to run 2 because next we run 2 Lost Age Dragon. This is pretty much the kind of last free version of Chronos Command. His skill is when this card hits a Vanguard, you can choose one opponent's rear guards and put them to the bottom of the deck. So it's a very simple effect, but he is the main card that you'll stride early game. Because you probably don't want to, if your opponent has like 1 rear guard, you're probably not going to want to stride into him, since it'll be a waste if you hit. So instead we run Lost Age Dragon, because you attack, you hit, you can pretty much send the card to the bottom of the deck for free, and then next turn your opponent has like 4 damage and they don't have a perfect card. Then you have a card face up, so you can use Ragnar Clock, use the effect, flip it face up. Now you have 2 units in your G zone that's face up, and then you can use Ragnar Clock's second ability to give himself an extra critical. So, yep, Lost Age Dragon. It's a pretty good card. Yeah. So a lot of people, will be like, why don't you just run 4 Chronos Command? But as you guys know already, I said before, it's a waste, since if they only have 1 or 2, and you kind of lost 2, so last one discard a card just to put 2 back, it's kind of not worth. So Lost Age Dragon will do his job, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Yeah, nothing much else to say. This is a very fun deck. It's a very competitive deck. Yeah. So that's pretty much all there is. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Card Talker, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!